What if the thing you've been waiting for years suddenly stood right in front of you? What if your breakthrough didn't come the way you expected, but in a way you almost missed? And what if the question God asks you today is not, do you want help, but something deeper? There is a place in Jerusalem near the Sheep Gate, a pool known as Bethesda. It is surrounded by 5 covered porches, and under those shelters lies a scene filled with suffering, waiting, and quiet desperation. The blind, the lame, the paralyzed, people who have carried pain for years gather here. They're not just resting, they are waiting for something to change, waiting for a moment, waiting for hope. Because there is a belief among them. At certain times, the water in the pool is stirred, and whoever steps in first is healed of whatever disease they have. So they watch, they wait, they compete, and for many, they remain exactly where they are. Among them lies a man who has been there longer than most. 38 years. 38 years of limitation. 38 years of depending on others. 38 years of watching life move forward while he remains stuck. We don't know exactly how his condition began, but we know how long it has defined him. Almost 4 decades. That kind of time changes a person. It reshapes expectations, it dulls hope. It creates a rhythm of disappointment that becomes almost normal. And then one day someone walks into that place. Jesus Christ, he is not drawn there by accident. He sees the man lying there, not just his condition, but his story, his years, his silent waiting. And then Jesus asks a question. Do you want to be made well? At first it sounds obvious. Of course he does. Why else would he be there? But the question goes deeper than it seems. Because after years of suffering, something can happen inside a person. Healing becomes complicated. Hope becomes risky. Change becomes uncertain. The man answers, but not directly. Sir, I have no man to put me into the pool when the water is stirred, but while I am coming, another steps down before me. His response reveals something important. He has a plan, but it isn't working. He believes healing is possible, but only in one specific way. And every time the moment comes, he misses it. Not because he doesn't want to be healed, but because he depends on a system that keeps failing him. And maybe that's where some of us are today. We're waiting for things to happen a certain way. We've created expectations, timelines, conditions. If this happens, then I'll be okay. If I can just get there in time, everything will change. But what if the answer doesn't come through the system you've been relying on? What if it comes in a completely different way? Jesus does not help him into the pool. He does not wait for the water to move. He doesn't follow the pattern everyone else is watching. Instead, he speaks. Rise, take up your bed, and walk. No build-up, no delay, no condition, just a command. And in that moment, everything shifts. Strength returns, muscles respond. A body that had been still for 38 years moves. Immediately, the man is made well. He stands, he picks up the mat that once held him, and he walks. Just like that. Years of waiting, gone in an instant. Not because the water stirred, but because Jesus spoke. This is the difference between human expectation and divine authority. The pool represented hope, but limited hope. It depended on timing, on competition, on being first. Jesus represents something greater. Immediate power, complete authority, a healing that doesn't depend on conditions. The man who once waited is now walking. The place that once held him can no longer define him. But the story doesn't end there. Because this miracle happens on the Sabbath. And instead of celebration, something else emerges. Criticism. The religious leaders see the man carrying his mat and immediately question him. It is the Sabbath. It is not lawful for you to carry your bed. They are focused on the rule. They miss the miracle. They see the action, but ignore the transformation. And isn't that something we still see today? People can become so focused on what they expect, on what they believe should happen, that they miss what God is actually doing. The man responds simply. He who made me well said to me, take up your bed and walk. He doesn't know much yet. He doesn't have all the answers, but he knows one thing. He was not able to walk, and now he is. And someone made that happen. Later, Jesus finds him in the temple. This moment is quiet, but powerful. See, you have been made well. Sin no more, lest a worse thing come upon you. This is not just about physical healing anymore. It is about transformation. Jesus is pointing him to something deeper, a new life, a new direction, a new understanding of what it means to be whole. Because healing is not just about the body, it is about the heart, the soul, the choices we make after the miracle. The man had spent years waiting for change, but now he is responsible for how he lives in that change, and so are we. This story, found in the Gospel of John chapter 5, is not just about one man's healing. It is about how we respond to God. Do we stay stuck in patterns that no longer work? Do we limit God to the ways we understand? Do we wait for the right moment while missing the one who is already present? Or are we willing to listen and respond? Rise, take up your bed and walk. These words still speak today. They call us out of passivity, out of excuses, out of waiting for someone else to fix what only God can transform. They invite us into action, into faith, into a life that moves forward. The man didn't argue, he didn't hesitate, he responded. And everything changed. Maybe you've been waiting for something, a breakthrough, a healing, a new beginning. Maybe it's been days, maybe it's been years. And maybe like that man, you've grown used to the waiting. But what if the answer is closer than you think? What if it's not about the right timing, or the right method, or the right system? What if it's about the right voice? The voice that speaks life, the voice that brings strength where there was none, the voice that calls you to stand even when you've been down for so long. Jesus didn't just heal the man, he restored his ability to move, to carry what once carried him, to walk into a future that had once seemed impossible. And he still does that today. He still meets people in their waiting. He still speaks into broken situations. He still brings change in ways we don't expect. The question is not whether he is able. The question is whether we are ready to respond. Thank you for watching this video. If this message spoke to your heart, don't forget to like, follow Holy Path Insights, and share this video with someone who may need hope and healing today.